Hey folks, we have a breaking news update. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of the Rush Hour podcast. I've already got today's Afternoon Rush edited and ready to go, so you're going to watch that as soon as we get to this update here in the Taylor Swift subpoena. Shake that subpoena off. Taylor Swift probe dropped by Justin Baldoni, and Blake Lively battles latest twist. My guess is this means Taylor Swift will find a way to coordinate her evidence with Justin Baldoni's side. I don't think this is a loss for Justin Baldoni. I think she's working with them, and rather than subpoena and get records the hard way, they're going to come into more of an agreement. That's what I believe. It says, breaking, caught in the blast radius of multiple million-dollar lawsuits between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni over accusations of harassment and an online smear campaign, Taylor Swift can now shake off that pesky subpoena. In an unexpected move, the It Ends With Us star and director has withdrawn the paperwork seeking information from Swift about what she knew about what went down between her pal Lively and Wayfair Studios co-founder Baldoni on the DV-themed film. Part of the reason the summons was dropped was because details that the Brian Friedman represented Baldoni and crew sought were provided. I hear. Okay, that's exactly what I said probably is happening. Having said that, reps for Baldoni, his Wayfair Studios, its execs and publicists did not respond Thursday to requests for comment on the withdrawal of the high-profile subpoena against the Fortnite superstar and her lawyer, J. Douglas Baldridge. Team Swift did respond with a polite no comment. Swift is a longtime friend to Lively and even the godmother to one of her and Ryan Reynolds' children. Even before news of more backlash from a previous served Swift subpoena leaked out on May 14th, the It Ends With Us soundtrack contributor had already made several cameos in various lawsuits and countersuits ever since Lively on December 20th filed her harassment and retaliation complaint with California's Civil Rights Department. With all that, Baldoni's team may be mum today and Swift's people circumspect, but Lively's side certainly had something to say. We are pleased that Justin Baldoni and the Wayfair parties have withdrawn their harassing subpoenas to Taylor Swift and her law firm, a Lively spokesperson told Deadline this morning. We supported the efforts of Taylor's team to quash these inappropriate subpoenas directed to her counsel, and we will continue to stand up for any third party who is unjustly harassed or threatened in the process. Oh, how rich! How rich that Blake Lively's side doesn't want Taylor Swift harassed, even though the claim by Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, in a signed and sworn affidavit, notarized, his claim is that she was trying to extort Blake Lively, saying, publicly support me or I'll release 10 years of evidence, text messages and whatnot. So this being the Lively and Baldoni case, there was always more to say. The Baldoni and Wayfair team have tried to put Taylor Swift, a woman who has been an inspiration for tens of millions across the globe, at the center of this case since day one, the Lively spokesperson said, of their client's close pal, who has popped up in more than one filing. Exploiting Taylor Swift's celebrity was the original plan on Melissa Nathan's scenario planning document, and it continues to this day. Faced with having to justify themselves in federal court, they folded. At some point, they will run out of distractions from the actual claims of harassment and retaliation they are facing. Now, if this is true, that Justin Baldoni decides to do nothing more with Taylor Swift, if this is true, that does make you wonder, if they had all of these claims against Blake Lively, why didn't use them? So what's interesting is Blake Lively's side calling their bluff right now, saying they folded, they got nothing. Now, what happens next if we get silence from Justin Baldoni's side? You have to believe maybe they didn't have anything, in which case, who the heck was Brian Friedman talking to when he swore he had a 1-hour conversation with his source? A source that Candace Owens says is Taylor Swift's father. Now, if some random person, it's like, all right, that won't hold up in court. But Taylor Swift's father, that would hold up in court if they decide to depose him. What Brian Friedman said he wanted all along, he said that they are working with Taylor Swift, that they are working with her legal team, that they just want this one email. So can they get that email without subpoenaing Taylor Swift? They don't want to have to depose her, and Taylor Swift certainly doesn't want to have to go and do a deposition. Even if you're on the right side of a story, things come out, you don't look good. She's such a celebrity. She doesn't need this, right? But if they need an email that proves that Blake Lively was extorting, or whatever term they want to come up with, exploiting Taylor Swift, that would be rich. It would be extremely hypocritical of Blake Lively to accuse them of trying to ride Taylor Swift's coattails, which, Taylor Swift, if her coattails are worn down by anybody, it's by Blake Lively, right? So last week saw a flurry of attorney accusations of strong-arming of Swift by Lively's side, along with witness tampering and evidence spoliation, plus protests by the Gossip Girl's crew of moves to launder scandalous and defamatory allegations about Miss Lively and opposing counsel into the press. It was a lot of thunder and not much lightning as Judge Louis Lehman reacted to a Lively team request and yanked the damning correspondence from Friedman and other Baldoni lawyers out of the court docket. The letter is improper and must be stricken, ordered Judge Lehman in response to a motion by Lively's side filed mere hours after Friedman's letter. It is irrelevant to any issue before this court and does not request any action from this court. I don't think it's irrelevant at all. Procedurally speaking, I can't really speak on behalf of that. I'm no expert. I don't think it's irrelevant at all, but what comes next will be important. If this conversation happened around Valentine's Day, what took Baldoni's side so long to even talk about it? Were they negotiating privately with Taylor Swift's father? If it's true that Blake Lively made this up, and I say if because we don't know for sure, although I believe she made it up. I believe she bent many circumstances into the direction of her being a sort of self-proclaimed victim here. If that's true, and we don't get any other evidence out here, you can imagine Taylor Swift has a tough decision to make. Burn your friendship. Now, obviously, you would do that if she's using you to say Taylor's, leaking information possibly that Taylor Swift wanted this composer, so we had to fire that guy. Part of Blake Lively in commandeering the film was to get rid of the old composer and go with the new guy mere weeks before they needed to have a cutout. And if she's going to claim that Taylor Swift did that because she doesn't like to work with other people, that was bad press for Taylor Swift, right? So there's plenty of circumstances why, if you're Taylor Swift, you would want to burn bridges with Blake Lively. But you're also years of friendships. You're kids' godmothers and things like that. So how do you do that? How do you sort of distance yourself? Well, one way is to let your source talk to Baldoni and get that email to them. That's all they want. They say, we don't need your depositions. We don't want to harass you. We don't want to. So in this moment that we have, a lot of speculation to do, but that's what we do best here is speculate, that we have a victory lap by Blake Lively's side, that this is a big loss for Justin Baldoni. But as we saw last week, Justin Baldoni was saying, we plan to work with them. We plan to kind of let this thing go. So they dropped the subpoena in good faith. Does that email come in? That's the big question. So anyhow, I wanted to get this to you guys while I also have the afternoon rush. Again, like I said, I'm up against a deadline. I'm interviewing some folks for this case for tomorrow's episode, so check that out. But I wanted to get this to you guys right now as this came across my desk as soon as I was getting the afternoon episode up. So if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, go check out the Rush Hour with Dave Neal, where I've got all of my other updates, including Kristen Cavallari interview. Hey, you know what? I'll give you a tease. I'll give you a brief tease of this because I actually shared this in today's Rush Hour, but I didn't share all of the clip. Here is a hairdresser on Kristen Cavallari's podcast discussing why he thinks Taylor Swift is cutting ties.
See them like at parties, or I'd go to their house for like a dinner, and I would look around, like the way that people treat the most famous person in a room is so wild. So you can't go off of that, because the most famous person in any situation could be friends with everyone, because everyone's going to be nice to her.
Exactly. They're not seeing the real person.
So I think that Taylor got bamboozled by Blake's
Wow.
So you don't think they're friends anymore? You think
I think this will end it. I think that Taylor's also one of those people, like, once you cross that line, you're done. Like, she'll be done with you. Like, Taylor is smart. She's not going to let somebody, like, tarnish her reputation like that.
I was going to say, I feel like it's all about her image right now, and she doesn't want to be dragged into this.
In a friendship, like, they're supposedly supposed to be best friends, but I also think when you have two people that are that famous, how close can they be?
Yeah, there's always going to be competition and things like that. Well, anyhow, hit the like button if you enjoy this breaking news update. It helps the algorithm, and we appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow, as always, twice daily, episodes of the Rush Hour podcast. We'll see you then.